Hello, welcome back to the studio. Today I'm painting pastel seas. I've got myself a cup of tea, so I'm all set. See you in a moment. Okay, so I've prepared this area, and if I touch with my finger you can see that there is some oil and some titanium white there. So this is nice and slick and wet, ready to go. And it's important when you're painting seascapes especially that you start to very early on introduce the suggestion of movement in your paintings, and you start to almost lay out the shapes of the waves early on. I don't need to get too much colour right on the horizon line there. There are distant little waves in the background there, and they could be catching the light, so I don't need to get too close to the horizon. Just to leave a little suggestion of a distant wave right on the horizon line, too small for any detail. Back in the distance the waves are all close together. And as they come forward, they're going to separate up a little bit more. I want quite an intense build-up of waves. We can start thinking about putting some more detail in. A little hint more yellow in my colour. The light coming through the back, this is going to be the shadow under the crest of the wave. This area in here which is brighter is actually the water between the waves. It's more reflective and flatter. So the reason why I've saved that colour there. If I want this to become more intense, I can use something like this small round brush and a little bit of this Seascape white colour, and I can go back in here and just smudge that back in. Cleaned out as much as I could with the cotton bud. Now I'll go back, put in that lovely transparent top to the wave. Don't overdo it too much though. This is really the focal point for our painting, so we don't want too many bright areas in our painting. Again, just gently brush that round, blend that down. I think the area behind our wave could just be a fraction darker. Make this wave come to the foreground. So whilst I've got this little brush on the go, I'm going to get some of that lavender, blue and purple colour here. I'm going to just introduce a little bit more shadow behind that wave. Just kind of block it in for the moment. I'm going to just gently blend that back, because this is actually behind this wave. Don't worry too much about that really hard edge. That will disappear when we put some foam on that wave. Maybe a few little splashes in here as well. just having fun playing with splashes and crashes. Amazing, you can actually create little wave shapes almost by accident. And I'm probably going to use a little bit of this colour, just add a little bit of shadow line to the edge of that foam as well. That's nice. I like that. That's good. So you see I've sort of changed the edge of that wave a little bit. It was a bit smooth and a bit sort of predictable looking, so I've just gone back in and broken it up a little bit. I'll just blend that back in to the wave behind. I want to work on this area of my painting, on the seashore part of it, and I need to put on the idea that there's a wave that's been here just a moment before and there's the surf left on the beach. So I'm going to use my palette knife and I'm going to pick up some of this Seascape white. It's a bit grubby, but that's okay. And I'm going to use my knife and I'm going to slide it along, and I'm going to slide it from here and I'm going to slide it down to here. So I'm going at a very shallow angle and a shallow angle from there. So it sort of comes to a point somewhere around about here, if I get this right. And that will line up with the light in the sky, the wave, this wave, and to there. So that's the idea. And I'm working from higher and I'm going to go down lower. You can't work up. So I'm going to press my knife and slide it along. If I've got this just about right, I should land on that little spot there. That was lucky, wasn't it? I landed right on it. Just gathering up a little roll of paint. I'm going to work from here over to the other direction. I'm just sliding the knife along, but I'm pressing. And the idea is I want to leave a ridge of paint. Just run out there, so I'll get some more. So I slipped my palette knife along and I've created this nice little shape here on the beach. It's a little bit sort of regular shape, so maybe I'll come in just behind it and just put in a slightly more irregular shape to it. It's a bit too smooth looking, so I'm actually going to go into the area just behind it and get a little bit more crazy with it, a little bit more exaggerated. Some nice zigzags. I'll pull that up into the wave so I get a nice sort of shaping. I might go back in here and run a few jagged bits as well. I'm going to use my fan brush just to again pull back some of the detail I just applied with my palette knife, but don't destroy all of this. This is nice detailing on the wave. It happened more by chance, and because it was more by chance than by design, sometimes that gives you the most realistic look to the wave. So leave a lot of that showing through. Warts and all, they say. Tidy it up too much. I changed the edge of that. Again, I've got a nice exaggerated zigzag pattern, much more realistic. Again, I'm going to pull it back. Again, I'm going to keep that little shadow line showing through. I'm going to add some little dots of very bright colour to the tops of these waves. And this is the sort of part of the painting you should never rush. Enjoy the process of adding these little details to your paintings. It makes all the difference. And I'll be going across my painting, picking out little areas to add foam to. And I'll just do a little section here as an example. And I'll spend a few minutes adding foam to other parts of my painting. Maybe even just a few dots at the back here. And in the foreground here, I'm going to add in some little bit of extra colour coming back up off the beach. These are just little patterns, foam on the surface of the water from the previous wave. Which reminds me of lace when I see it on the surface of a wave. Again, I'll spend a few minutes adding all that detail in. Here we'll use some light colour to add this detail. In the eye of the wave we can do the opposite, we can add a little shadow colour. Maybe I'll do some of that as well. Okay, 3, 2, 1. If you've enjoyed watching me paint pastel seas, then give me a thumbs up. Subscribe, like, share the video with friends and family. It all goes to support the channel. Any comments you leave, I'll do my best to answer. Until the next time we paint, happy painting people. Time for tea.